Kemono Jihen is surprisingly not bad. You know, I'm honestly not sure why I even started watching this show. Reading the description, it sounded like a Monster of the Week anime where the guy and his demon boy go around solving issues. Considering I was reading the Attack on Titan manga, and considering the Promised Neverland anime fucking shat itself, I didn't have a lot of shows to watch, so I just said, why not? What's the worst that could happen? And after watching the first episode, I was convinced. This wasn't anything special. See, the first episode introduces the main character Kabane and the detective who comes to his hometown to investigate the problem. Kabane is a pretty boring and deadpan character and doesn't really react to anything that happens around him. He's a farm boy and apparently always smells like shit. You would think this makes him feel lonely and leaves him having no friends, but actually, people like him surprisingly. They are more than accepting enough to put up with his bad smell, but sadly today is not today. This big hotshot from the city is coming to town, and you don't want no poo-poo boy around while you're trying to finesse these city folk. You know, hard to chase the bag with the room smelling like shit. So Inagami, the detective, arrives to their village, and instead of taking an interest in the well-spoken young boy who can't wait to finally leave his village, he takes an interest in Kabane, making the boy jealous. We'll save that for later. Now what follows after that is immediately kinda boring. We spend some time getting to know Kabane as they work together to figure out what's killing all their animals. My money's on the chupacabra. You can't fool me. Oh god. But as I said, Kabane has nothing interesting to actually say. He doesn't feel anything, you know, not having the best time. But towards the end of the episode, the show does start to come to life a bit. The boy comes back pissed that Kabane is getting all the attention. He's mad jelly. And he reminds Kabane that he is in fact not shit. I mean, he smells like shit, but he ain't shit. And anyway. And during their argument, he rips the necklace off of Kabane's neck, and we finally get to see Kabane's true nature. He is a ghoul. Now, unbeknownst to the show, I've been watching a lot of really shitty horror and slasher movies all month, so I was ready for this. I was ready for what's about to transpire. Kill him! Kill him! And as he's about to be murdered to death, the kid remembers that one time he pushed Kabane down a drain pipe and broke his fucking neck, and he tried to tell himself that that was a dream. See, this kid's smart, you know. See, it sounds a bit more convincing when you're trying to tell the cops that you aren't a murderer if you convince yourself that it was actually just a dream. So before Kabane can deliver justice to this spoiled, ungrateful, awful kid, he is stopped and saved by Inugami. Inugami shows up, he brings him back to his senses, defeats the real monster who's causing the problems, and together they leave the village. Kabane makes a deal with Inugami that he will leave the village with him, working at his detective office, if Inugami helps him find his lost parent. The parents who abandoned him at this village. So, you know, not the worst episode. I was bored for most of it, but you know, the sudden transformation and the action scene at the end kind of convinced me to keep watching. And you know what? They actually does get better. See, by episode 2, we get the full cast together. Kabane moves in with Inugami and meets the other two characters, Shiki, a spider demon or kimono, and Akira, the... Well, we'll get into Akira later. But this is where the show starts to shine. Watching these two characters grow and play off each other is where most of the fun comes from. Kabane is a dead on the inside country boy who doesn't understand the city life, and Shiki is an angsty, brooding teen who would normally be, you know, the angsty teen of the show, the Sasuke, if you will. But he is so perplexed by Kabane. He is so taken aback by the fact that this kid doesn't even know what pizza is that he literally turns into a tsundere. Shiki goes from the angsty Sasuke character to a tsundere mid-episode. It is just impossible to hate Kabane. So each episode we get a new case to tackle and a monster to learn about and defeat. And while I thought this would just be a Monster of the Week anime, it's actually a bit more than that. See, this anime isn't episodic. Episodic meaning that, you know, each episode is just some random event that's not really tied to each other, just no like main story progressing, and just kind of, you know, episodic like a comedy show. Instead of that, in every episode we get a new case, and every case is used to expand the world building, teach us more about the kimono and how they learn to survive in this world, develop our characters and learn about their flaws and traumas. They've all been abandoned by their family, and they're all working under Inugami to find what they've lost. And this show isn't as colorful as I thought it would be. From talking about themes like dependency and obsession to sexual assault to his fights, Kabane is metal as fuck. This dude will set himself on fire to beat someone's ass. These fights are actually good. Now, the only problem I had with the show is Akira. Akira is a boy. Now, Akira does a good job of playing off the group. You know, he's nice, he's caring, he's a shopaholic kid who always thinks about his friend's feelings. And when you throw in angsty tsundere spider boy Nadami who can't feel anything, you get some pretty funny moments. However, Akira is the worst character in the entire show. Oh my god. This character exists to fuck any and everything up. Can't fight, can't use their powers, learns their powers but can't control it, too scared to go on missions, no real strength, so this character can't even provide anything beneficial to the team, literally gets left behind when anything happens, and spends every waking moment on social media taking pictures of this and that's cute and that's gross, and his voice, oh my god. Listening to his voice every episode, kill him. So yeah, Kemono Jihen is surprisingly a good watch, and I didn't let Akira ruin the show for me. Now, I think I'm pretty good at judging how a show is before I watch it. If I think a show's gonna be bad, it tends to be bad. But I was actually wrong about this show, and I'm glad I gave it a try. And you should too. And based on how the anime ended, we might actually get a season 2 sometime soon. Maybe in a few years, maybe. So anyway, this is the end of the video. Guys, sub to the channel. Look at my cat. Look at him. He is so sad, and the only way to make this cat happy is if you hit the sub button. Sub to the channel, drop a like, comment, follow me on Twitter, and peace.